after 3 months of these changes that we made, or I should say you made, because you're the one that does this every day, I just give suggestions. We did Rakan's labs again, and it was amazing in just 3 months what we did. So cholesterol, total cholesterol went down from 229 to 193, which is the normal range. Bad cholesterol, 172 to 129. That is a huge, almost 50-point drop from just lifestyle change. I didn't give him any medications to do this. We didn't do anything extraordinary. Again, like you said, you didn't go vegan, nothing like that. He just made some lifestyle changes with eating better, drinking water, and being a little bit more active. A1C went from 5.9 down to 5.3, which is a great healthy number. Vitamin D went up to 87. So these are all great things. And then let's talk about testosterone. So when Rakan came to me, he was very low in testosterone. Testosterone for everybody is what gives you the drive to want to do things. I mean, everybody thinks about libido, absolutely no brainer there. But the rest of it, the drive, the brain fog, the bone density, protecting your breast health if you're a woman, like all the things, well, I guess for men too, men get breast cancer. Testosterone is just amazing for all the things that it does. And so we took Rakan's testosterone from very basement level up into the range where it absolutely should be, into the 900s. And so that made him feel really good. Let's talk about that.
Okay, and with the testosterone, saying that you have to go through the process to understand the feeling. I can talk about it, but you really have to go through it. The thing was, we talked about mind fog, and I did not understand what she meant by that. I really didn't, because Amanda was talking to me, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. You know, what do you mean? What does that mean?
What is this brain fog thing?
Yeah, what is this brain fog thing? But then, after we started the treatments, I'm like, oh my God, I was starting to understand what she's talking about. You're calmer. It's a calming energy.
Yes.
You think about things in a different way. I mean, it's really hard to explain. You take a step back and look at things in a different manner, and it was a great thing. My energy level went up too, as well. It's not the same testosterone people inject.
Yes,
This is not the same thing, because I was like, I have people like, do you have? I have people ask me, did you get roid rage? I'm like, no, God, this is not. It's not that.
No, so we use bioidentical testosterone, which is the same molecular structure as what you currently have. We implant pellets at Wellness for Life. We also can do it in a variety of ways. Pellets are what we prefer, just because you get the best results. But everybody's different. Whatever you need is what you need. However, bioidentical is not going to give you that artificial. So when people think of roid rage, testosterone, they're talking about anabolic steroids, which are a completely manufactured, synthesized, injectable product, which is nothing we would ever do to somebody. So yeah, it is not at all the same. You know, we are supposed to have testosterone. It is not the thing that makes people crazy. It's actually an imbalance of your hormones that makes you a little bit wild feeling.
Yes.
So yeah, fixing that and making you just feel more balanced is absolutely what happened, and we saw that in those first 3 months. So what I wanted to do with Rakan, knowing his history, is I wanted to get him feeling good, make him feel healthier, eating better, drinking, sleeping, all of those things before we tackled the real issue. And the real issue for almost everybody is gut health.
Right.
So most Americans have leaky gut. What leaky gut means is that your gut wall barrier has become permeable. So instead of being a nice solid barrier, it now lets whole strings of undigested food out into your bloodstream. And what that causes is massive inflammation all throughout your body. And bloating. Rakan would get so bloated after he ate, like he was pregnant. Little 4-month belly. Awful. And inflammation is the root cause of every single disease process, every single one. Cancer, you name it, whatever it is, it's inflammation. And so generally what people need is gut health to bring that inflammation down. And so for Rakan, in his case, he took Accutane as a teenager because of his acne in his skin, which we're going to talk about in a little bit because Trish has done some amazing work on that. But the result of that left his gut microbiome just denuded. There were 2 beneficial families of bacteria left in his gut out of, you should have over 200. So he was really, really struggling. And let's talk about, how did you get there? How did that happen to you?
And that happened because, so initially it was Accutane. I had really bad acne to start with. I did Accutane in 2000. It came back, my acne came back again with acne rosacea, and it was really bad. I get these really awful cysts, and I sometimes couldn't go to bed. They hurt so bad. It was so disgusting. It was, I mean, I had to get medical help because it was just terrible. I couldn't live with it. We went, my dermatologist recommended antibiotics initially. I was on them for almost 4 years, but he told me you cannot have this. This is unsustainable. It's not good for you. And the reason why I stayed on them for that long, because I didn't want to go through Accutane again. I'm a study case. Unfortunately, with Accutane, I got every single side effect. I mean, there are people who have 0 side effects. I got every single one of them, and it was not good. But then he said, you know, I'm you know, way over 40. It's been 20 years since I've taken it. My body changed. Let's go ahead and try it and see what happens. It worked, but in that process, it did a lot of, you know, gut damage. I'm gonna say, well, not damage, but it didn't have really good.
No, it gut damage.
Okay,
It absolutely did.
yeah, because I didn't want to say something I didn't, you know.
No, you're right.
So then, and that's why, oh my God, I eat and I get bloated all the time. And when I say bloated, people think like, you know, discomfort. And I'm like, no, let me show you a picture. and
honestly, like a 4-month flight.
It's really terrible. And imagine that process of just having it. And first of all, it's not just makes me like self-conscious. I mean, you can't go to the beach and you look like, it looks just awful. It really was awful. So by doing the
gut health.
The gut health, but the test, what is it called?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yes.
So the test we do is a microbiome test, meaning it looks at the DNA of everything that's in your gut. So this is telling me all the bacteria that's in there. So this obviously is a take-home test. It's a stool test. It takes about 3 weeks to get it back. And then it tells me what is happening in there. Can you digest protein? Can you digest plants? Are you producing too much sulfur, which causes bloating? Do you have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth? Do you have leaky gut? What's the pH of your gut? 20 pages of bacteria. It makes me so happy. I love it. But what it tells me, it gives me this big overall picture of what happens when you eat.
Right.
And so then I'm able to bring the patient in and talk about this is what happens when you eat food. And it very often it's so illuminating. So skin problems, poor sleep, allergies. And yeah, let's talk about allergies. So Rakan had terrible allergies. He would spend the entire spring on 5 medications?
Oh my, 5.
5.
So I couldn't function without them. I really couldn't. And here's another thing that I was super skeptical. I'm like, how does gut health is going to help with my allergies? I'm like, I went to an ENT and he's, you know, I have to do the skin test, you know, the allergy test and blah, blah, blah. And then Amanda comes and says, you know, it's your gut health will help with that. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, right. Oh my God. Okay, let me just say this. This year is the first year after we worked together. My allergies are so minimal. I'm looking at everyone around me and they're dying, including her. Well, you know, not that bad, but I really, I have nothing.
Which is extraordinary,
Yeah.
you know, and it's extraordinary for 2 things. One, that we have this amazing test. You know, the science of the gut microbiome is about 10 years old. It's very new. And so there's so many things that we can fix with the gut. So this is super exciting. We live in a great time for this. But that you did the work, because fixing your gut health is not simple. It is not quick. I will say that for sure.
Right.
But we have a histamine system inside of our gut that wraps up the histamines that get into our body that cause these allergic reactions and excretes them. And if that system is impaired, that's just not happening. And so that's how it was with Rakan. Basically, all the beneficial systems that were in his gut were just not working. So hence the bloating, the sugar cravings, the histamines, the, you know, alternating constipation, diarrhea, just all the tummy problems that he had. It was all because of his gut. And so once we have those results, then it's relatively simple to fix it with, it just takes time and energy. So,
and I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's doable.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very, very doable. It's nothing extreme. Everything we worked on, trust me, if it was too much, I don't think I would have done it, because I'm just a super busy person.
Yeah.
In you know, my job, I work almost 7 days a week. So if it wasn't doable, I don't think we would be here today. Mm-hmm. But it was so simple. Nothing. I mean, it was life-changing results. To me, it wasn't life-changing. You know, like, oh my God, I have to stop eating, you know, a lot of things, or don't do this, don't do that. I mean, there are things you obviously shouldn't do, but it was extremely easy for me to do.
there's a lot of different probiotics, prebiotics, sporebiotics, changes to diet that require in gut health.
Right.
And that's what can make it a challenge, because I mean, at one point, if you have pathogens, there is a point where you are taking like 20 things in a day, and that's tedious, I'm not going to lie. However, it doesn't go on. That's not your whole life.
Right,
you just get through that. And the thing is, so Rakan had some breaks in his healthcare, and we're going to talk about that a little bit,
Yes.
some things that had happened. And so he would take a little break from gut health, and that's okay.
Yes.
It's not like, oh God, now we've got to go way back to the beginning. We
Right.
just pick up. So it's definitely a process. And like with everything that we do, it's about you and what do you need. And so I was able to look at this, see what some pathogens, which are the bacteria we'd like to not be in our gut or anywhere else, and see what he had. And so we were able to weed those guys out first, and that's where his sugar cravings were coming from. There is a group of bacteria that we get that love sugar, and you know what, so they just keep putting out this hormone telling you eat some sugar. You eat that sugar, they get really excited, and so when you give them the sugar, they produce a ton of serotonin. It makes your brain really happy. You eat some more sugar, they reproduce. It's a horrible cycle.
I hate them. I hate
yes,
them.
yes. Well, we got rid of them, and so that's why he doesn't have the sugar cravings that he used to have, because his gut is healed and it's doing so much better. And so that, again, is one of the biggest things that we actually needed to do. But we had to start with the things that were going to make him feel really good and have energy, because if you just start with gut health and you don't feel very good, and it takes so long, a lot of times people are just going to give up.
Right.
And so
yeah. And it's a process. That's why you need a professional like Amanda to go to and guide you through the whole steps. I mean, it was something. I mean, I honestly am so lucky that we met and we actually ended up collaborating together, because
it's so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where would I be at. And a lot of things that we did, they affect your mental health as well.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just, oh, I look different. No, it's actually way more than that. It's because of the hormone balance.
Mm-hmm.
It really, I mean, I didn't know. It's a lot of things we didn't know that we ended up talking about, and it brought things to light.
Absolutely.
And I understand things much better now. And the most important thing that I actually took out of all of this is I can now listen to my body.
Yes.
And know if something is off or not. And I will always reach out to Amanda. I'm like, okay, this is happening. Is this okay or not? Because I felt it. And I would never have before we met.
Mm-hmm.
This is something, I don't know if I've even told you about it before, but it's something that I discovered. And I was like, oh, this doesn't feel normal. But before I would ignore it, because I would think, there's whatever, it is what it is. It's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
We
So,
need it. You should feel good. And
right.
if you don't feel
yes.
good, there's a reason.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just
really.
a state.
But you get to the point where you get used to not feeling good.
Yeah.
And you think it's normal.
Yeah.
But when we changed things and I started feeling or knowing how feeling good it really is, I'm like, oh, this is how things should be. Or, it's not, this is not normal.
It's not normal.
It's not normal. And people are different, guys. People, you might be perfectly healthy. You might have everything going
That'd
right
be
for
great.
you. Right? Then that's fantastic. When you say, oh, I don't need this, that's fine. You probably don't, right? But some of us do. And some of us, honestly, I'm extremely lucky that I seeked help. And I was able to make this happen.
Yeah, it is super exciting. It's so gratifying to do this kind of work. And
Oh, yeah.
and what we hear a lot in the clinic is like, I forgot what it felt like to feel good.
Right.
And that is such a great feeling, to give people back their optimal levels of health, help them get to the point that they want to be at. And so that's really the heart of the work that we're doing here. And so we've talked about the inside and all the things, and we're going to continue to do these things. We're going to continue to work on gut health, and because this is not we just do this and then we're done.
Right.
So we're going to continue to do hormone replacement, because unfortunately we do not ever make the level of hormones we made in our 30s. We're going to continue to refine your health, to put more things in that are going to even increase his health, make him stronger, more stable, more flexible. We were talking about bringing in a professional who does really great somatic body work to work on some of the anxiety issues that we're going to talk about in a little bit with Rakan, and really get him feeling balanced and whole. But before we move into that, let's talk about what we did on the outside.